Welcome to my campfire location guide for Red Dead Online. Now, I've been meaning to make this video for a while now, and I realize there's other videos out there that have campfire locations. Nothing's original anymore, but this is still a video I've been wanting to do because as somebody that hunts and does daily challenges and also likes to craft ammo and tonics, I'm always out on the look for various campfire locations. Now, obviously, most of you can simply just go to your camp and do all that when the camp's working. The other reason why I decided to go ahead and put this video out because of the fact we're going to have a lot more Red Dead Online players coming in starting Tuesday, November 5th over on PC. And I also have a beginner's guide video for you all to check out, as well as a meats guide if you guys are needing some assistance, some help with Red Dead Online when it comes to beginning, as well as the meats guide. Now, the first state we're going to feature is New Austin. So we're going to start in New Austin and we're going to move east. Now, unfortunately, New Austin only has 2 campfire locations that you can go to. So, yeah. You have here at Solomon's Folly. You have Fort Mercer. We'll head over to Fort Mercer in just a second. But once again, I triple checked online because I want to make sure I try and get as many of the locations as possible, which is why I'm linking a post and a map from, the Reddit of Red Dead Online Reddit below in the description section. So shout out to everybody at the Red Dead Online Reddit for putting your list together and compiling a really awesome looking campfire map. So obviously, the very first location is here, Solomon's Folly. Now, on occasions, Solomon's Folly is quite popular for a gang attack, for a dynamic, also for, bounties. That is also a popular location. So sometimes you're not able to actually come here because something else is already transpiring at Solomon's Folly. But in case you're wondering where it is just south of Tumbleweed, not too far from the San Luis River. Now, Shaky here has several locations in New Austin, and he does happen to have a campfire by his lonesome, but Shaky doesn't like to share because he's a jerk. So his campfire, unfortunately, we can't use for reasons. All right, so this is Solomon's Folly. Now we're moving on to the second campfire location in New Austin, which is over at Fort Mercer. Here we are. The legendary fort itself, which also serves as a dynamic occasionally for gang hideouts, free roam missions down here in New Austin, as well as other, tenants like Teddy Brown, Del Lobos, etc. So what you want to do when you are coming to Fort Mercer looking for a campfire spot, which is obviously right there inside of Fort Mercer, is come to basically this rear entrance of Fort Mercer. That's the way you want to come in order to get to the campfire. It's the quickest, easiest way to get to this campfire. And by the way, if I happen to miss a location, feel free and let us know in the comment section. Always good to help out if I happen to miss one. I'm going to do my best not to. That's why I'm also using a source of Red Dead Online Reddit. Once again, thanks to them for the hard work they've done over the past few months. So once again, like I said, there unfortunately is only 2 official campfire locations in the New Austin region. Solomon's Folly, I can't talk today. As well as, southwest of Armadillo at the legendary Fort Mercer. Now we're over in West Elizabeth as we move further east. There are several campfire spots here, specifically in Blackwater. So right outside of Blackwater, there is this house, and kind of tucked away, you'll see this campfire site. But this is not the only one, so if this particular house is occupied, if you happen to trot by, fear not, right up the road, there is another location not too far from here. So it is kind of interesting that New Austin has only 2 locations for a campfire, yet practically side by side here in Blackwater, there's 2 of them as well. So that's what I find freaking hilarious. So yeah, they're like practically right beside each other. This house has a campfire site, and this house. So you got 2 locations at least. I don't know. I think over at the campsite there are camps for like the workers that are constructing the buildings in Blackwater. I don't think you can use any of those campfires, but at least 2 campfires can be used outside of Blackwater. Now we've ventured up into Tall Trees, and there's also a few in Tall Trees for us to check out. The first one and the easiest one to find is at Manzanilla Post. By the way, there are a lot of campfire sites that happen to be not too far away from a fast travel location, like Manzanilla Post, going all the way back to Blackwater, for example. You can fast travel to Blackwater, and you can find 2 convenient campfire spots for you to cook or craft at, and one right here at Manzanilla Post. So there you go. Manzanilla Post, campfire spot, perfect for cooking, crafting, resting, hanging out with some of these fine Norwegian folks. And whenever you see anything like this, these stew pots, you can't use them. I know there's a lot of campfire sites, but there are plenty of them that are, like I said, they're non-functional. We can't use them. But there are those like this that we can use. So I just wanted to clear that up in case some of you are wondering, well, why can't we use that stew pot over there? Well, reasons. Now, one of the dangerous things about venturing up into Tall Trees is there's a lot of predators that want to eat you. Like cougars, bears, wolves. But let's just say you get lucky. You happen to kill a grizzly bear like we just did. And you're looking for a place to cook your meat, right? You're hungry. You're in the mood for some supper. You're famished after, wasting some bullets. Well, I wouldn't call it a waste because they saved your life. Here is another location that you can camp at that will allow you to craft and cook in Tall Trees. So, the waypoint isn't exactly 100% right because a bear was coming after me, but it is, I would say, kind of northish of Manzanilla Post if you decide to be brave enough to venture deeper into Tall Trees. And why would you do that? That's a crazy idea. But if you're the crazy type, then here is a location for you to camp at. 2 spots in Tall Trees. This one is practically east of the Aurora Basin. Easiest to find at night because, obviously, of the campfire. During the daytime, it's a little bit more challenging to locate. Now, before we move on to Big Valley, I almost forgot a little something. Even though we don't have the trader in Red Dead Online, you'll meet him in Red Dead Redemption 2. We do have his posts scattered throughout Red Dead Online. And you can also go to his little stands and you can cook and craft at them. And one of them happens to also be in Tall Trees. So instead of 2 locations, you actually have 3 locations in Tall Trees that you can go and craft and cook at. So great spots right here. Once again, 3 locations. This one, like just south of Aurora Basin, south of Manzanilla Post, and right along the lower Montana River. So to reiterate, 3 locations and 2 locations near Blackwater. Now we've moseyed over into Big Valley at another Trapper location. And once again, the Trapper is currently a no-show in Red Dead Online. I guess he's up north right now visiting his friends and other people. But yes, once again, the Trapper locations are also great spots to go in order to craft and cook. Now, specifically, where is this location, you may ask? It's right here in beautiful Big Valley, north of Lake Awangelich. So come up here along the stream, the road, and this is where you'll find one location of a few campfire spots in Big Valley. Now, not too far north from the Trapper location in Big Valley is another campfire spot. This is Hanging Dog Ranch. Pretty easy to notice when you're riding through the valley here in Big Valley. By the way, this is one of the most beautiful locations in Red Dead Online, in my humble opinion. It's also a great spot for you to stop by, do a little looting. There's some jewelry inside this house, and do some cooking and crafting if you feel the need. But for those of you hanging out down here in the southern part of Big Valley, wondering, Do I have to go all the way back to a campfire spot in Blackwater in order to cook? No, actually, our next location is another trapper spot, not too far south of Strawberry, and right by Rig Station, and the train going by, is yet another trapper location that you can cook and craft at. So here is the southern campfire spot in the Big Valley region, not too far from the Great Plains of West Elizabeth. So there you go. All the locations to camp at scattered throughout the region, the state of West Elizabeth, which includes this campfire spot at a trapper location right by Rig Station, to north, one over here at Hanging Dog Ranch, one over here at another trapper location, including, of course, 5 others, 2 right beside Blackwater, and once again, 3 more all the way over in Tall Trees. Now, with New Austin and West Elizabeth behind us, we venture further east into the Heartlands. Our first stop in New Hanover is one of my favorite places to go and craft and cook, in Valentine. It's perfect because you got a butcher right beside you over there, and you are not too far from a convenient fast travel post, so you can always fast travel to Valentine and come right over here across the road from the butcher to do some crafting and cooking. The downside about crafting and cooking in Valentine is it's a popular place for other players that like to shoot up the place, whether it's NPCs or other players. Now let's say you mosey on into Valentine, right, and that campfire closest to the butcher is preoccupied. Well, good news, there is a secondary campfire camp only a few feet away. It's funny how, as I mentioned a moment ago, in New Austin, there's only 2 campfire spots, yet there's 2 campfire spots practically side by side each other in Blackwater, and the same is true for Valentine. So right beside the stable and not too far from the Saints Hotel where the butcher is in Valentine, you can find not 1, but yes, 2 campfire locations. And you're probably wondering what that smell is. It's the horse manure. Smells. Oh, Galaxy Traveler, I didn't know you were there. The next spot I almost missed, thanks once again to the Red Dead Online Reddit, linked below in the description section, is a pig farm not too far from Flatneck Station. Now, there's technically a pig farm over here, but that's not the correct pig farm. It's this pig farm right here. So, yes, we go from horse manure to pig manure. Great. Lovely. Man. So, yeah, another location in New Hanover for you to do some cooking as well as crafting. And this one is, once again, not too far from Flatneck Station. Plus, you know, while you're at it, you can go play some poker. And it's also not too far away from roads either. So it's a pretty good spot. And it's also close to Rig Station, where the trapper location was. I had to keep removing the waypoints because you're limited with the waypoints. But in case you're wondering, this is yet another location you can go to if you're looking for a place in the southern part of the Heartlands, or you're at the border between the Heartlands and Lemoyne here in Scarlet Meadows. You're looking for a place to do some crafting and cooking. Well, this is a good spot to go. Or if you're by the river, you know, if you're by the river fishing for trout or salmon, and you're looking for the nearest convenience campfire place over here by the Dakota River, or by the Flatiron Lake over here along the shoreline, well, this will probably be one of the better spots for you to venture over to. This pig farm, once again, not too far from Flatneck Station, and just south of Valentine and north of Rhodes. The next campfire location in Hanover is east of Valentine and just northeast of the Harlan oil fields, which is over here in this small farm right here. The Carmody Dell is a great spot for you to occasionally find cows, bulls, oxen grazing here every now and then. There's also sometimes chickens over there, And of course, a great campfire location for cooking and crafting in the Heartlands. Now, it is actually a little bit closer to Emerald Station than it is Valentine. And what's important about this is there happens to be a fast travel post over here at Emerald Station. So if you are looking for a spot to cook and craft near Emerald Station, this is the place you want to go in the Heartlands. Along the Lanahatchee, up in Roanoke Ridge, still in Hanover, further east from Emerald Ranch and Emerald Station, is the once great port town of Van Horn that has seen much better days. Now, if you're in the mood to do some cooking and crafting with some very questionable people, this is the place to go, Van Horn. And behind these dilapidated buildings, much like this little town has seen better days, there is a campfire for you to cook and craft. But I would be very careful venturing into Van Horn. Try not to bump into anybody because that usually doesn't end so well. Now, in all fairness, Van Horn is not that bad when you consider the fact that it's the only campfire location that you can go to. There is a trapper location, but unfortunately, that is the only trapper location that doesn't have a campfire that you can use. And if you happen to be hunting outside of Ansburg or Van Horn in the Roanoke Ridge region, well, this is probably your best bet when it comes to campfire locations up here in the northeastern region of New Hanover. Now we are heading south to Lemoyne. All right, now we are in the city of Saint Denis, a little further south of Van Horn for the next campfire location. By the way, Lemoyne happens to have probably the most campfire locations, which we'll be checking out in just a moment. Now, this is probably my favorite campfire spot because it's right beside the butcher, and it's not too far from a fast travel post. Plus, one of my favorite places to hunt alligators and exotic birds and other animals happens to be along the Lanahatchee, so it's a great place to come down here, do some cooking, some crafting, right here by the butcher on the rail tracks in Saint Denis. And, of course, I would get the travel award again, traveling around the map looking for campfire locations. Anyways, on to the next one we go. Now, what's interesting about Saint Denis is, as you're about to discover, once again, thanks to the fine folks over at Reddit Online Reddit, link below in the description section, there's quite a few campfire spots in the Saint Denis area, and this is the next one in the poorer part of Saint Denis, but clearly you're able to cook and craft right here. Now, there's an identical one like further down the street, if you call this a street, but that's not the one you want to go to. You want to go to the one right here, and you can cook and craft right here. In case somebody like by the butcher spot is cooking, crafting, and you don't want to mess with it, you don't want to unintentionally cause a scuffle, then you can always craft at that spot. There's also another spot, I think, practically right here. So here's the next one. So you can come over here if you want a little bit nicer spot, I suppose. Hello, sir. How's it going? So we'll go ahead and we'll waypoint this right here as well, just to give you guys a general idea of where each one of these are for you. So that one is just north of this one and not too far from my personal favorite. And believe it or not, there's actually a fourth one not too far from here. So if you want an even more secluded spot in Saint Denis, because you obviously have options when it comes to campfire crafting locations, you can just come right here, just north of the cemetery, right here off the road behind this house, near I believe that's a cornfield over there, and right across the way from a blue building. So right here, you can also craft and cook. So once again, you have a grand total of 4 locations for you to craft and cook in Saint Denis, plus a fast travel post not too far away, as well as the butcher shop. So Saint Denis is probably one of the best places to go, in my opinion, for crafting and cooking if you're unable to get your tent to spawn, which unfortunately is an issue in the game. Now, in the Scarlet Meadows region of Lemoyne, there's also a few campfire locations as well. Now, over on the Red Dead Online Reddit, they mentioned a campfire spot here, but that's tied into a gang hideout dynamic. Now, if you clear out a gang hideout dynamic, usually there is a temporary campfire that will spawn. So just wanted to clear that up in case you wonder why you see campfires whenever you clear out a gang hideout. That's why. But these are permanent campfire locations throughout Red Dead Online that you can always find. Now, we're not too far north of Rhodes, as well as by Maddock Pond, where the Hillhaven Ranch happens to be. So this is a fantastic spot. There's usually jewelry somewhere inside, along with other things you can loot. If you need some cows or bulls or oxen, there's sometimes cows and bulls and oxen for you to go get down there for cooking and crafting purposes. And yes, once again, right behind this house here at Hillhaven Ranch, yes, you can craft and cook here as well. Another location that makes a great campfire spot, not too far away from Hillhaven Ranch, over here by the Southfield Flats, also north of Rhodes, is a campfire location I like to use whenever I'm in the Rhodes area, just north of Rhodes. Rhodes is practically right there. You see the red mill. There's a house over there you can loot. And by this lonesome tree, yet another crafting camping location. Now, this is the closest to Rhodes. Well, I would say probably 6-1, half a dozen the other when it comes to these two campfire spots. But personally, I prefer this one. It's like a straight shot to the fast travel post at Rhodes. So you can simply just fast travel into Rhodes, head north up by this tree, by the crops, by the mill, by that house in the Southfield Flats, in order to do some crafting up here. And this is the most northern crafting, cooking, campfire spots in Scarlet Meadows. Well, I guess you could draw like a straight line between the two, but these are the two locations up here. Now, there is one more location we are going to check out all the way down here in Braithwaite Manor. Now, just south of Rhodes is yet another location in Lemoyne that you can campfire and craft at. Right here in Braithwaite Manor. The Apple House, as I like to call it, because it happens to be by a whole bunch of apples. And apples are great because your horse likes apples and wild carrots. And while you're over here crafting and cooking and running around Braithwaite Manor inside the mansion and other parts looking for jewelry and other things to loot and also collectibles for the collectors out there, pick up some apples. And while you're at it, you can also do a little bit of crafting and cooking right by the Apple House in Braithwaite Manor. But if apples aren't your thing and you're still looking for a spot to craft and use for the campfire, for cooking, well, there's actually two locations in Braithwaite Manor for you to do crafting and cooking. Not too far away from the Apple House over here by the shoreline, by these fine folks, is yet another campfire crafting location for you to come and do some crafting and cooking here at the Braithwaite Manor. Don't put on your winter coat just yet because there's actually 3 locations in Braithwaite. I forgot about this little house on the hill. It's also great for looting occasionally. So we got 3 locations in Braithwaite. The Apple House right just south of the main house, the mansion. Then, of course, the workers' houses over here. And then this house on the hill in Braithwaite. Another great spot for you to craft and cook. And it has a good view, you know, a flat iron lake, a few other things, the fields of Braithwaite. So, once again, 3 campfire locations can be found in Braithwaite Manor. 2 north of Rhodes and 4 over there in Saint Denis. Now, if I happen to miss a campfire location in any of these states, feel free and let me know below in the comment section. Now, without further ado, go ahead, throw on your winter coat, put on some gloves, get yourself some hot cocoa or hot coffee or whatever you prefer. Okay, so we're in Amberino. It's cold up here. And there's 2 locations. To the west, in West Grizzlies, if you're looking for a campfire, you have one over here at Carn Lake. I cannot talk. Carn Lake by Flaco Hernandez, which is a stranger danger mission giver. And the closest fast travel post is Coulter. So here's the abandoned town of Coulter. It's seen better days. So that's where it is. It's just south of the Adler Farm. So, yes. If you're up in Ambrino on the west side, in the snowy part, and you're looking for a campfire to not only warm up a little, but to also do a little camping, crafting, and cooking, this is the place to go. But try and stay on Flacco's good side. Wait a minute. Flacco doesn't have a good side. Okay, I'm leaving. Now, between you and me, I think I saved the best location for last. Well, the best when it comes to a majestic remote view away from everything. All that civilization down there to the south. This is the loft, which is all the way up here, East Grizzlies. You could say it's northwest of Ansburg. A little trek from Ansburg. And the closest fast travel post to the loft is the Wapiti fast travel post. So as you can tell, over there is Carn Lake by Flacco. The further we are away from him, the better. And so this is the eastern campfire location in Ambrino. Unfortunately, just like with New Austin, there's only two known official permanent campfire locations in Ambrino for cooking and crafting. And this is the one to the east. So, there we go. I think those are all the locations. I may have added one or two in the video that I went back and re-edited in, all sneaky-like and not so sneaky-like. But I tried my best to include all the known permanent campfire locations throughout Red Dead Online from all 5 states, New Austin, West Elizabeth, New Hanover, Lemoyne, and, of course, Ambrino. And once again, the link to the Red Dead Online Reddit post is linked below in the description section. And if I did happen to miss a permanent campfire post, feel free and let me know, because I'm not perfect. I miss things on occasion. I hope that this campfire location guide proved helpful to all of you out there, new and old Red Dead Online cowpokes. And if there is a favorite campfire spot that you love to go, whether it's in New Austin, Lemoyne, New Hanover, the Heartlands, up at Big Valley, even on the creepy tall trees or near Blackwater or Saint Denis, all the way up here in Ambrino, let me know your favorite campfire locations in Red Dead Online below in the comment section.